Hey everybody, this is Tim Grotman. This is a tutorial on how to animate a cube and have it move between 2 points. So, using PlayMaker. So first I've picked up PlayMaker in the Unity Asset Store, and this is a new scene. Okay, first thing, I'm just going to create a cube so that I can animate the cube. There it is. Awesome. Alright, now with PlayMaker, I'm going to use PlayMaker add FSM to selected. And now I can edit the finite state machine. Alright, already it comes with a default state. I'm going to add 2 more states. Okay, I did that by right-clicking and selecting Add New State. Now, if I right-click the state, I can add a transition for each state. Add a transition. Right-click, add a transition. Alright, now if I left-click in the ... area and drag to the next state, I can adjust the flow. So it'll go from the first state to the second state, from the second state to the third state. And I want the third state to loop back to the second state. Alright, so far so good. Now I want it to transition to the next state by right-clicking. I want it to transition when it hits the finished. Alright, so I'll set finished as the transition state for each step. Okay, now in the first state, I want to add some variables. Okay, so I'm going to add some vectors for the original position. For the target position, click Add, and a temporary position. Okay. Now in the first state, I want to set defaults for each of these. So I click on the first state, and I bring up the action browser, and I want it to set a vector value. So I'm going to add 3 set vector values by double-clicking them. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Close that. Okay, so now it's added, if I click on the state, it's added 3 actions. I want to select affect the original, affect the target, and affect the temporary. Okay, so this will be the original position. I'll have it start at 1, 1, 1. The target, it'll move towards 5, 5, 5. And the temporary position can start at the original spot. And I can switch between entering actual values or picking a variable by clicking that little button. So it'll start at the original. And this only has to happen one time, so I don't have to click every frame. Now for the second state, I want it to interpolate between the original and the target position. So I'm going to click on second state, go to the action browser, and it'll do the same. It will call Interpolate. Vector 3 Interpolate. I'm going to double click that to add one, and I'll click on the third state, and it will also Vector 3 Interpolate. Double click it. Now once it interpolates, we'll need to set the value. So I'll click on the second state, type in set position, click on the third state, add set position. Okay, that's done with that. In the second state, I'll just use a linear interpolation. I'll interpolate from the original to the target, and it will store the result in the temporary variable, and we'll do it over 2 seconds. After it's done, we want to set the position using the temporary variable, and we'll do it every frame. On the third state, we'll have it go from the target to the original for 3 seconds. It will store the result in the temporary variable. It will set the position using the temporary variable, and it will do it every frame. Okay, now we can hit play and see what happens. It's in state 2. Okay, we'll stop that. Edit the finite state machine. Okay, it's going from the target to the original, putting it in the temp. It's using the temp to set the position. Oh, it needs a finished event. So we're going to set the finished event to finished. Same thing on the other state. That way when it finishes, it will switch states. Let's try that again. It moves to the target position, and it moves back. So the first state, it sets our initial positions. First state sets the original positions. Second state interpolates from the original position to the target position. Finishes, switches to the third state, and that interpolates from the target position to the original position. Finishes, and it keeps oscillating between the second and third event. Alright, hope you enjoyed this tutorial of animating between a cube to move between an original point to a target point, and looping back and forth between the 2 states.